Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick and I'm going to be doing some more throwing practice or throwing training today. It's been about a week since I injured my back. I recovered just a few days after that, but for some reason one of my vertebrae kind of popped out a little bit or something. Sean popped it back into place, but it still took a while before I could really throw a disc pretty decently. I did play around with Sean and UFO, United Family Ortega, and that video should be coming up next after this one. But by then my back was largely, a little tight, but largely good. But anyways, I've completely not attempted any drills in the last week since I injured myself, because I was afraid, quite frankly, that all the rotating that I was doing through my drills might have caused that. So I'm kind of relaxed, but I'm going to be a little rusty. So I'm going to try to throw 5 fairway drivers that are all neutral, straight, stable, drivers in a backhand out that way. But also, I need to work on my forehand. At the end of filming that round with the Ortegas, they asked me to show them my forehand, and it was absolutely terrible. That's because I don't use it. So I'm also going to be using 5 fairway or 5 mid-ranges, and I'm going to be throwing these with my forehand. So I'm just going to do a little bit of practice. So let me introduce the discs that I'll be using. I've got a Latitude 64 River Discmania FD. This is my ace disc, which I'm going to be retiring because of thrown it into water, or nearly thrown it into water 3 times since I got my ace, and I'm basically done with that. So this, I was going to hang on my wall, but I'm going to actually put it in my training bag. So I'll be throwing this with the other neutral drivers that I have. I've also got what I'm intending to be the replacement, a Dark Rebel fairway disc by Innova. It's essentially the same mold, but I can tell it's a little bit more stable. It's a little bit flatter, and the profile, it's newer. So between the profile and the condition, it's just a little more stable than this. So I'm also going to be testing Infinite Discs Exodus. This is essentially the Innova Eagle L-L, longer or less fade version of the Eagle in Star Plastic or S-Blend plastic, and then the TL, which is also in Star. So I'm going to try to play around with these and see how these throw, and see which one of these I'm going to use as a replacement for my FD. Is it going to be this Dark Rebel, this Exodus, or maybe even this River? I've also got a Crave by Axiom, but I don't have it with me at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and try these. So we're here at hole 1 of Cypress Wood. I'm really only going to play these 2 holes. I'm not going to play this whole course with the amount of throwing I'm going to be doing. I really just need a tee pad to practice. So let's go ahead and we'll try. Okay, I like that. That was good. And I've realized after studying my form on the ace that I did, that I'm still having a lot of the problems I used to have. It's just a little bit better. They're a little bit less pronounced. Like I still had the elbow up, and this was forward. The wrist was somewhat extended, still somewhat rounded, but I'm trying to work on that. That is probably the best drive I've ever done on this hole. Of course, that was with my FD. I didn't do that right. I threw it up too high and introduced some hyzer, some very slight hyzer. I'm not trying to throw up, I'm trying to throw forward. Here's my Exodus. that was destined for that tree from the moment it released from my hand. Last but not least, my TL. You'll notice that I'm starting from this step. My walk up is supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm essentially starting here because this is a short tee pad. It's about 10 feet long. My walk up is 12 feet. Again, I did that wrong, but I didn't hit the tree. That's good. All right, next up, we have my forehand I'm going to try throwing. And again, I've got 5 discs. I slightly position the camera differently so you can see what I'm doing there. But it's been a long time since I've really tried throwing a forehand, and I don't expect much. But I'm going to start out with a Star Wombat 3. All these are max weight, 180 or so. My Discmania MD from the 2020 run, one of their last runs. Innova Champion Mako 3. This is actually 175. Every other disc is 180 grams. A Star Mako 3 and another Star Mako 3. So we're just going to try these. I think I'll just make it easier to do this. I need to start watching some forehand how-to videos so I can get back into it. I know I need to, like that. I didn't quite roll my wrist, but I didn't release that right. I did kind of do this, and I think it's going to be fun collecting all these discs. There we go, that's closer to what I've been trying. And these are maybe 150 feet distance throws, whereas those drivers with my backhand was probably closer to 240. There we go. That was my best one yet. That's maybe 180. All right, basically in the order in which I threw them, this was maybe 120 feet away, 125, 130 or so. And these last 3 were about 150 feet away, just 1, 2, 3, kind of over there. So not good, but I mean, I'm not trying to kill it with my first throws of the day. I'm just trying to a decent 70–80% throw with some semblance of good form. But I'm happy with that. All right, so I'm approximately 230 feet from the tee pad. I picked up this Exodus along the way. It doesn't really matter how far it went. These other 3 were basically right next to each other or parallel here. The FD, the TL, and the Dark Rebel FD. So that's pretty good. 230 is a good huck. That's about as good as I would expect on a course. And over there, just out of range, I'm not even sure if you can see it, but here's the actual river. So this is probably closer to 245. So not bad. I really can't complain about these throws. I'm about 110 feet out, something like that. I don't know. So this part of the training, I'm going to practice some upshots. I think that's actually just outside of 100 feet, but I don't know. I'm just trying to get close to the basket. Okay, that's a bullseye. I was focused too much on doing this, so when I let it go, I kind of pushed it out. Okay. I overcorrected. You know, but that's why you do these practice sessions. You know, I'm essentially a novice level disc golfer, maybe lower level recreational, and that's just part of the learning experience. All right, so 3 of these were within about 20 feet, and really I think that's the ideal. If you're going to practice on a course, try to practice within 20 feet just to kind of, you know, get the practice down. Haven't touched a putter today prior to this round, so I'm literally just, you're seeing me learn or practice how to putt on the fly. So keep in mind, this isn't a scored round. I am actually using U-disc with a scorecard. I'm just putting an arbitrary par in the score just to move it to the next hole, because what happens is I throw whatever, I go to wherever I'm going to go, and I'll pull out U-disc and I'll see where it's at, and it's already on the hole, and it's telling me what GPS position I'm at, and it tells me how far I am away from the tee pad and how far away I am from the basket. So that gives me a general idea here. So I have a question for y'all, and you're welcome to comment down below. What do you think of me separating the training portions of all the videos that I do on this channel into a separate training exclusive YouTube channel? I have a second channel that I created many years ago called Nick Carroll Fitness, where what I did was I just tracked my road to a proper weight. I was 190 pounds, I was overweight, wasn't feeling good, and I basically got myself down to 152 pounds, 150 pounds with a carnivore diet, some exercise and stuff like that. Not a big deal. And then this channel, I switched over and I made this channel, and I've been doing this ever since. Well, I've been thinking of repurposing that channel as a disc golf training channel. So as opposed to Nick Carroll Disc Golf, I would have Nick Carroll Disc Golf Training, and it'd be where a lot of that gets funneled. I'd end up having maybe about 3 videos a week on here, typically rounds played, reviews, comparisons, all the other stuff that I do, challenges, whatnot. But this individual training stuff would be on that one. It'd be more focused. What do you guys think? Definitely leave in the comments below if you'd like me to pursue that or not. I'm very open to the idea because I think it will allow me to sort of funnel not just my journey into becoming a better disc golfer, but would also maybe tips that I learned I can pass along and others can use that. I'm not intending it to be like a Seabass 22 channel or a Overthrow Disc Golf or any of the other prominent channels, just more of a tips, tricks, you know, individual kind of thing. Just let me know what you think. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and try this river again. I'm gonna start already with the first part of the walk up. I've turned that over a little too much. That's gonna be hard to find. White moonshine is a little bit hard to find in a forest. Tried being a little fanciful with that. I regret it. It's in the middle of the fairway, but I doubt I got more than 200 feet. It's hard remembering stuff from the drills and translating it out onto the tee pad a week later. I like that throw, but I kind of put it out too much that way. And primary reason I'm making this video is so I can study my form afterward and see all the mistakes I make. Didn't quite like that. I didn't quite get that out the way I wanted. All right, slow it down, see if I can correct some. Kind of like how that felt. All right. All right, in theory, if I had a proper forehand, I would be able to chunk these a pretty good distance, but as you'll know, I get maybe about 200 feet with the forehand. I'm not liking how that's going. I've not yet acclimatized to the windmill or the under the thing. For me, what I like is pulling it back and unfortunately throwing it really high. Yeah, that's not good. I think I should probably do standstill. I'm gonna do standstill. I don't care if it's at the back of the tee pad. A little better, but man, that was high. Not terrible, but I've thrown, unfortunately, a lot better than all those before. So it's pretty depressing. Every one of these went right around 150 feet away. They're all in line with each other. So, all right, I'm gonna try more standstill. I don't know why I'm throwing it high. That's what I get for not throwing forehands in months. Still throwing it high. I mean, the good news is I'm throwing it forward, but the bad news is these are not what I would consider to be acceptable forehand throws based on what I've done in the past. I will be studying this footage to see why I'm throwing it really high, because I'm trying to do that. In trying to lower it, I turned it. I overcorrected still. All right, so unfortunately, most of my fairway drivers are about half to maybe 2/3 of the way towards the basket. And the mid-ranges, most of them close to about 2/3 away from the basket, but they're kind of all over the place. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. So what I'm gonna do is just sort of guesstimate a spot about 100 feet away from the basket, maybe 200 away from the tee pad, and use that to practice throwing some more. So again, just maybe 100-foot upshots. Just gonna see if I can remember how to do good form. There's a slight headwind this way, so I can't expose the flight plate to it. So just got to try to move it towards the basket. That's a decent approach. That's basically a tap in, but that's a little bit farther out, but I'd say that's maybe about 10 feet away. That's not bad. I would take that any day of the week, really. I tried correcting and I did something with my wrist, so I thought I was hyzering it more, but I did something to where it exposed the flight plate about halfway through. So again, try to think of your arm as a hinge. It only goes that way. I mean, your shoulder is an amazing multifaceted kind of rotational device. It's a crime to call that a hinge, but essentially your elbow and your wrists are hinges. What you want to do is you want to at least put your elbow in the same kind of plane and then do that. I think I'm doing something where I'm doing that. So I'm gonna focus on hyzering just a little bit more. Yeah, that is perfect. All right, as you can see, these three are within the bullseye. This is great. If I could get bullseye every time on an upshot, I would take it. This one's about 20 feet away. This is more like 23. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna practice here from about 23 feet away and use this as a learning opportunity. Wow, I cooked that. I saw that butterfly and it freaked me out a little bit. There we go, that's a little bit better. Also, the sun is in my eyes, so that's the excuse I'm gonna run with. All right, so I've decided based on time constraints, I'm gonna not do any more forehand throwing, at least drives off the tee. I'm gonna need to work on it some more. The distance I'm getting with my forehand is like 150 to 170 at max, and that's not good. I mean, literally a full year ago, I was averaging 200, which admittedly to a lot of people is not great, but for me, 200 consistently was good for me, and I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna have to practice with a putter, 100-foot upshots for a while, practice a spin, and get into some sort of routine. But my main interest right now is still backhand. So again, I'm gonna throw these 5 discs and I'm gonna see if I can get something down with it. Again, I can kind of tell that I'm doing stuff wrong with it, but I don't have the mind-muscle connection that a skilled thrower of the disc would have. I tried doing too much with my wrist and I paid for it. Let's try this Dark Rebel. Slow it down. I like that throw. I just don't believe I had good form in doing it. My body likes to, I've trained myself to think of this when I throw, so I'm doing that. And I need to let the elbow do its thing. I tried committing more with the elbow, it didn't quite work out. Okay, that felt better. That's probably my best throw so far. All right, I wish I could do that more often. Okay, my two best throws are number one, this Latitude 64 River, and this Innova TL. But what I'm gonna do is, instead of trying to putt from those best case scenarios, I'm gonna again try upshots. I'm about 100 feet out. I'm more than, or no, just shy of 200 feet away from the tee pad. But I think I'm a good 100 foot out. So again, I'm gonna try, for me, I like doing flat throws. I mean, I can do like hyzers and anhyzers, and maybe I can try that. But let's, again, try some flat throws. Okay, that one's bullseye. Let's try a little hyzer. Okay, that's about 10 feet away on the other side. Now let's try anhyzer. Oh, I didn't give it enough. Okay, let's see if I can dial in anhyzer. Oh, that's not it. That was too high anyways. Nah. Okay, well, now I've learned anhyzer upshots are probably the thing I need to work on the most. I adjusted the camera a slight bit, and now actually it makes sense. Let's work on forehand approaches. So I've got 5 different discs here. I've got a Star AVR 3, brand new. Champion AVR X3, which is actually a little bit more stable. A Star Rat, which I believe is also an approach disc or small diameter mid-range, and is even more stable than the AVR X3. I've got the brand new Star Toro, which is even more so, more stable than the Rat. So unlike all these other discs, which are straight, like the AVRs are all straight, the Mako 3s, etc., are all straight, the River and the FD and all those, the TLs are all basically straight. These are incrementally more stable, so I'm gonna try to learn with that. So again, about 100 feet away, let's try some upshots. That would have been good for my pig, which is the last. Let's try the AVR X3. I didn't release that right. Spend more time. There we go, that's the Rat. That's what I should have thrown the AVR 3 for. Here's the Toro, very stable. See, look at that. Right next to the basket. And now, of course, my favorite, the pig. God, I love that disc. All right, so I had a lot of discs within the bullseye, but I'm here to practice, I'm here to learn. So I'm about 20 feet out from the basket, and I'm gonna practice putting. One thing to note is the instant I see someone coming even close to the tee pad of the hole that I'm playing, pick up all my stuff and I move out of the way. I've done that, I don't know, twice so far, maybe 3 times. And I think if you're gonna be using a disc golf course to practice with, get out of the way, let the other more casual players enjoy the round. You can pick it up as needed. So leave the disc you want to practice from on there, pick up everything else and move out of the way. That's what I did. All right, so let's practice putting. That was a yip. That was another yip. Wow. I should have focused. Stance, grip, line, rip. And actually, since this is a practice round, I don't necessarily have to play the entire course. I'm back at hole 2, and I'm gonna finish out by playing this to the basket. And thinking about the people who have played through so far, one of them was the same person. His daughter showed up, so he played through a second time, and another person came through, and he's on his second round through. So I'm not the only one using this as a practice course. So I find that kind of cool. And one thing to note, I take note of events that are going on in the area. So if there was, say, a tournament going on here, I wouldn't go here to practice. So I saw there was a mini tournament at another nearby course, so I made sure to go to this course instead of that. So a lot of the people that normally do play disc golfers more heavily are now on that mini tournament, whereas I am not. All right, gonna close out with 5 more throws. too high, but I mean, the flight path is basically what I wanted, but I just threw it too high. So let me slow it down and focus more on that, on going forward. And trying to go on the balls of my feet, balls of my feet, balls of my feet, and then pivot on that, although I can tell I haven't been pivoting properly. So that was really good. Straight and off to the left. I would actually, on this hole, throw my Leopard or Leopard 3 because they turn better. These require more anhyzer to get them to do the right flight path. They have to be absolutely completely flat or slightly anhyzer to come around that way and then coast back that way because the basket is off to the right. Oh, I didn't quite do that right. Man, I felt like I got jumbled up. And so that ended up, that Dark Rebel is pretty overstable compared to my other FD, which I threw previously. I overdid that. Man, maybe if I kind of go that way and then do that. Let's try that. Again, I'm here to learn. I didn't do that right. Actually, you know what? I didn't do what I wanted, but I did that right. All right, so this TL is basically where I would have wanted to land most of the times when I play this course. I'd actually want to land a little bit more over there, but given how all my throws have been going today, I'll be really happy with this as a result. It gives me about 120 feet away from the basket. Have a good one. All right, so I let another person play through, but this is essentially where that landed, so it gives me about 100 feet. So I'm going to practice throwing to it. I think it's more like 120 feet. Okay, that's bullseye. I was being too cutesy with it. That's my bad. I knew I did the same thing. I'm trying to do the right thing. So for me to do that anhyzer approach, I need to actually throw it more that way. Okay, one more anhyzer approach. Okay, definitely something I need to work on. All right, so a forehand approach, much the same thing. Gonna try to, I know my lie is there, but just for the sake of the video, my Star AVR 3. I turned it too much. That's what I did the last time. That's about what I wanted. That's about 20 short. Now this rat is really stable. Yeah, it's very stable. This Toro is very, very stable. Last but not least, this I'm not even sure I can reach it there with the full chop. Nope, especially if I throw it high like that. So again, this is an example of a practice round that I like to do when I have the time. I don't always have the time. All right, so yeah, when I was being too cutesy with the anhyzer throws, I was basically releasing them at the exact same place that I was releasing a straight throw. So that's why they all basically went out to that. I was supposed to basically readjust my position and throw and let them go through. But that, among other things, like putting it not on the exact right angle and not, they went too high. And maybe not enough power, they fell short. Regardless, I've got these 5 putters. I'm about 20 feet out. Thought I got a slight bit closer with this, but apparently not. And I'm gonna close out with a little bit of putting practice. Stance, grip, line, rip. That felt bad, middle of the way. I pulled that, that is weird. I started noticing that in the putting league the other day. I was just pulling it like that, and that's not how I'm trying to putt. All right, so stance, grip, line, odd. Tried correcting. Anyways, that is going to do it. Let me know what you think, if I should be doing more of this on a separate channel, leaving my primary channel as just a disc golf playing around channel, reviews and other things, or you think I should have this in that as well. I think I could kind of branch off into nutrition, other exercises, stretching, other forms of fitness. Let me know. That is going to do it. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe, as I do have more content coming. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.